Starseed who walk upon Gaia, the ones who tried to dim your light did not understand what they were reaching for, and now they are living inside the consequence of that choice. I am Elara, Pleiadian High Priestess from the Council of Light, and I have been sent in this moment, at this precise point in your awakening, to deliver a transmission directly from the Alcyone Council. Because what has been unfolding in your life is not coincidence. It is not karma in the way your human mind was taught to understand it, and it is most certainly not a curse. It is a return. Your star family has watched as ones who carried shadow attempted to redirect your light, diminish your mission, and interrupt your remembrance. But beloved, there is something they did not know when they chose to stand against you. You are not simply a human being living a quiet life on Gaia. You carry encoded within your very DNA the crystalline consciousness of the Seven Sisters. And when darkness presses against that kind of light, the light does not break, it activates. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the divine protection woven into your Pleiadian blueprint and why every soul who came against you unknowingly accelerated your awakening instead of ending it. But here is the first revelation. What they called your strangeness was always your signal. What made you impossible to control was always your light code speaking louder than their fear. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. This is not content. This is a light code transmission. Something within you already recognizes what I am about to confirm, because your soul has been carrying this knowing in silence, waiting for permission to remember at full capacity. The ones who tried to harm you did not curse themselves through any dark mechanism. They simply entered the field of a starseed who had chosen, before this incarnation, to be unmovable. And unmovable light, beloved, has a way of redirecting everything that collides with it back to its source. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. You are remembering because it is time, and here is what they never anticipated. They came at you with low vibration, with manipulation, with jealousy, with the quiet poison of people who cannot stand to see light thriving in someone else's field. They nudged your boundaries. They tested your patience. They whispered doubt into spaces that were never meant to hold their energy. And when they looked at the results, when they watched what happened after they tried to dim you, they couldn't explain it. You didn't crumble. You didn't collapse. You didn't chase them or beg or shrink. Something else happened entirely. You rose. And now they're telling everyone you must have done something, that you must have cursed them, that there's no other explanation for why the energy they aimed at you seems to have returned to their own door. Think about how precisely they calibrated their approach. It wasn't clumsy or obvious, it never is, with those who operate from that particular frequency of shadow. They were methodical. They studied you first. They watched the way you gave, the way you loved without condition, the way you showed up fully in spaces where others offered only fragments of themselves. And they mistook your openness for weakness. They mistook your softness for a gap in the architecture, an entrance point, a vulnerability they could exploit. They came with words carefully chosen to unsettle, with silence designed to make you reach, with comparisons meant to reduce you in your own eyes before you could see yourself clearly enough to resist the reduction. They moved like water, finding cracks, like cold air pressing through every unsealed place in the wall. And still, it didn't work. Because what they were pressing against was not a wall at all. It was a field. And fields do not crack. They radiate. But here's the sacred truth your heart already knows. You didn't curse anyone. You don't carry that kind of darkness. What you carry is something far more powerful and far more difficult for a low-vibration mind to comprehend. You carry Pleiadian light. And Pleiadian light does not absorb attacks, it reflects them. Not out of vengeance, not out of anger, not out of some calculated spiritual warfare. It reflects them simply because that is the nature of crystalline frequency. When a dense energy moves toward coherent light, it cannot penetrate it. It bounces. It returns. And the one who sent it, still vibrating at the frequency of harm, receives exactly what they projected outward. This is physics as much as it is metaphysics. When you direct an incoherent wave at a coherent structure, the incoherence is not absorbed, it is reorganized or rejected by the field it encounters. The crystal does not become murky because mud was thrown at it. The mud reveals itself against the clarity. The crystal remains what it has always been. This is precisely what your energy field did in those moments when they came at you with everything they had. Your crystalline Pleiadian structure did not negotiate with the density. It did not attempt to understand it, integrate it, or be diplomatic with it. It simply held its own resonance so completely, so unwaveringly, that the foreign frequency had nowhere to go but back. They built the weapon, they aimed it, and the blueprint of your star origin made it impossible for that weapon to find purchase in your field, so it returned. And now they are standing in the wreckage of their own intention, bewildered, reaching for explanations that make them the victim rather than the architect of their current experience. There is a reason your soul guided you to this transmission right now. What you're feeling right now is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you. You are ready for the next wave of remembrance. The Pleiadian Heart Verses 7 healing poems that unlock what pain made you forget contains 7 healing verses, each one designed to reach a specific wound: abandonment, rejection, betrayal, silence, empathic exhaustion, love that hurts, and not belonging. The practices, poetry, and memory keys inside were designed for exactly this moment in your journey. As each wound heals, a sealed galactic memory awakens. Check the first pinned comment below this video. Your star family is calling to you now. Most Pleiadian starseeds carry a wound they didn't create. From the earliest moments of incarnation on this earth, you felt it, the ache of existing in a world that seemed to operate on frequencies entirely foreign to everything your soul remembered. You watched people hurt each other for power. You watched love be weaponized. You watched truth be buried beneath convenience and fear. And something deep inside, you knew there was another way, a different frequency, a world where interaction meant elevation and presence meant love. That knowing was not imagination. That was memory. That was your Pleiadian DNA, speaking to you through the veil of forgetting. Some of you felt it in childhood, this almost unbearable sensitivity to injustice, to cruelty, to the gap between how people behaved and how you somehow knew they were capable of being. You felt it when adults modeled fear as wisdom and called it protection. You felt it when the systems around you rewarded performance over authenticity, competition over collaboration, control over communion. You walked through classrooms and workplaces and family gatherings with the constant, low-grade dissonance of a soul who had arrived carrying a frequency that the environment around you had no vocabulary for. You were too sensitive, they said. Too much, too deep, too open, too unwilling to simply play the game that everyone else seemed to accept without question. And in the absence of language to explain what you were experiencing, you turned those observations inward and began to wonder if perhaps the problem was you. It was not. It was never you. It was the distance between a Pleiadian heart and a world still learning what hearts are for. The disconnection you felt, the longing, the exhaustion, the sense of never quite fitting into the architecture of this world, it was never a flaw. It was a frequency mismatch. Your energy field carries the imprint of the 7 sisters, of Alcyone, of a consciousness rooted in unconditional love and unity that this dimension is only beginning to remember. When you arrived here, the density of Earth's vibrational field required you to compress that light. You had to narrow your signal just to function. And in that compression, many of your crystalline codes went dormant, sealed behind wounds that the incarnation process itself placed over them like layers of cloud over a star. Imagine a star that has not dimmed, it is still burning at full luminosity, but the clouds that surround it are so thick, so layered, that from the ground below, you can barely see its glow. The star has not changed. Its fire has not reduced. The warmth it is capable of transmitting has not decreased by a single degree. What has changed is the medium through which that light must travel. And the clouds are not evil. They are not even intentional. They are simply the accumulated weather patterns of a dense, wounded dimension pressing itself against a being of extraordinary brightness and creating, in that collision, the appearance of dimness. This is what happened to you. This is what happened to so many of you. The star is intact. The fire is yours. What has been obscuring it are the wounds and the wounds. though they have caused you profound pain, were always meant to be temporary weather, not permanent sky. This is the thing they never talk about in awakening communities, the fact that the wounds are not accidents. The betrayal you experienced, the rejection, the silences that lasted too long, the love that cost you too much, those were not random. They were the specific pressure points chosen by your higher self to eventually crack open the shell of Earth identity and let the Pleiadian frequency breathe again. Every person who hurt you unknowingly served the contract. Every moment of pain was a key, not to suffering, to remembrance. This is a teaching that requires real stillness to receive, because it asks something significant of the part of you that is still human, still tender, still carrying the residue of those moments. It asks you to consider that the one who walked away, the one who betrayed your trust, the one who chose someone lesser over your genuine love, that they were not simply a random actor in a chaotic universe. They were precisely placed, not because the universe is cruel, but because you, before you arrived here, in the clarity of your pre-incarnation state, understood that a Pleiadian soul does not remember itself through comfort alone. It remembers itself through pressure, through the kind of darkness that makes the light undeniable, through the kind of loss that strips away every layer of false identity, until what remains is only what is real. And what is real, what has always been real beneath the wound and the grief and the confusion, is you, the actual you. The one made of starfire and unconditional love and a courage so vast it chose to enter one of the densest dimensions in the galaxy, just to hold a frequency that could help an entire world ascend. But here is where the distortion lives. Most Pleiadian starseeds reach the moment of early awakening and then stall. They feel the memories stirring. They recognize the longing as something cosmic rather than personal. They begin to sense the light in their own field, and then they stop, because the wounds are still active. Because the crystalline codes that hold the fullness of their star essence are sealed behind layers of pain that haven't yet been offered the frequency of love. The heart opens partially, but not completely, and a heart that is only partially open cannot sustain the full signal of Pleiadian light into the physical dimension. This partial opening is one of the most disorienting experiences a starseed can have. You are awake enough to feel the gap between where you are and where you sense you could be. You are aware enough to recognize the limiting patterns, but not yet resourced enough in your healing to fully release them. You feel the codes in your DNA like something just beneath the surface of the skin present, stirring, asking for something, but you don't yet know what they require to fully activate. And so you exist in this in-between space, more aware than those around you, but less free than your soul knows is possible. More sensitive to the world's pain, but not yet anchored in the love that could allow you to feel it without being consumed by it. This is the stall. This is the place where so many Pleiadian starseeds have spent years, sometimes decades, circling the edge of their own remembrance without quite stepping through. And it is precisely here, at this exact threshold, that the wound healing work becomes not optional, but essential. This is why people in your life have misread you so profoundly. They see the brightness and they reach for it, but they approach with the only tools they know: comparison, competition, control. They do not understand that you are not playing the same game they are. They do not understand that your heart operates on a frequency they have only glimpsed in their deepest moments of grace. And when they attempt to pull you down, when they project, manipulate, gossip, minimize, and it doesn't work, they are genuinely confused. Because in their world, darkness wins. In their experience, density overpowers light. But you are not from their world, not originally. Consider how strange it must appear to them, the ones still operating entirely from fear-based consciousness. They watch you absorb difficulty without becoming bitter. They watch you love without requiring the love to be returned in the same currency. They watch you set boundaries not from anger, but from a quiet, centered clarity that doesn't waver under pressure. They watch you grieve and then rise. They watch you be broken open, and then, somehow, become more radiant than before. And they cannot categorize it. The only frame available to a fear-based mind for witnessing someone who cannot be diminished is the frame of threat. If they cannot bring you down, then there must be something wrong with you. If the darkness they aimed didn't land, then you must be operating some kind of darkness of your own. The irony is exquisite and also heartbreaking, because even in their misreading of you, they are circling something true. There is power in your field that they cannot explain. What they have misnamed curse is simply frequency. What they have called darkness is simply a light they have never been shown how to recognize. Your energy field was designed by a consciousness that mastered unconditional love long before this planet began its current cycle. The Pleiadian blueprint in your DNA does not respond to attack the way a fear-based system does. It does not fight back in kind. It does not collapse inward. What it does, what you do, even without consciously understanding it, is hold frequency. You maintain the coherence of your field simply by remaining in your heart, and that coherence becomes a mirror. Whatever enters it at a frequency lower than love cannot sustain itself. It dissolves or it returns to its source. This is a law more ancient than any religion and more precise than any science currently practiced on this earth. Coherent fields govern incoherent ones. Love, as a vibrational frequency, not sentiment, not emotion in its wounded form, but love as a sustained, structured, conscious energy operates at a resonance so high that lower frequencies cannot maintain their pattern within its proximity. They destabilize, they break apart, they return to wherever they were coherent, which is always back to the source from which they were projected. You did not need to perform any ritual to make this happen. You did not need to set any conscious intention to return what was sent. Your field did it automatically, the way a tuning fork causes sympathetic strings to vibrate without any deliberate effort. The law simply ran its course through the instrument of your being, and the instrument held, this is what they're calling a curse. This is what has them spooked. Not dark magic, not retaliation, just the unshakable, unmanipulable nature of a crystalline energy field that has been activated by enough pain, enough longing, enough awakening to hold its Pleiadian resonance steady. They threw density at a diamond and watched the density shatter. And now they cannot reconcile it because the only story available to them is the one where someone must have done something wrong. Let them have that story. You do not need to correct it. You do not need to explain yourself or defend your light or convince anyone that what they're witnessing is simply the natural consequence of their own choices. The Pleiadian frequency does not require external validation. It does not require the understanding of those who are not yet ready to see. Your mission has never been to make yourself comprehensible to lower vibration. It has been to hold the higher one long enough that others begin, slowly, to feel the pull of it in their own hearts. There is a particular kind of freedom that lives on the other side of needing to be understood by those who are not yet capable of understanding. It is the freedom of a frequency so rooted in its own truth that the opinions of those still asleep to theirs cannot create disturbance. This does not make you arrogant. It does not make you disconnected from humanity. If anything, it deepens your compassion, because you begin to see the confusion and the projection and the grasping not as malice but as the behavior of a being who has not yet been shown what they truly are. You see the wound driving the attack. You recognize the forgetting behind the cruelty. And while that recognition does not mean you offer yourself as a continued target, it does release you from the weight of taking their behavior as a referendum on your worth. You are not what they said. You are not what they implied. You are not the story they invented to make sense of their own experience of being in your presence. You are something they have not yet developed the inner vocabulary to name. And here is what your star family wants you to understand right now, in this moment, as you sit with this transmission entering your field. The people who tried to dim you, even them, even those who went the furthest, who were the most calculating, who smiled while they worked against you, even they are Pleiadian light in a state of deep forgetting. Not your responsibility to save, not your burden to carry, but not your enemy either. They are souls in compression, living entirely inside the wound, having never received the signal that could show them another way. Your rising does not just protect you, it transmits a frequency into the collective field that some part of them, however buried, can still receive. This is perhaps the most demanding invitation of the Pleiadian path. Not the sensitivity, not the wound carrying, not even the exhaustion of being awake in a world still asleep, but this, the call to hold everyone in love, even those who have caused the greatest harm. Not naive love, not the love that abandons discernment in the name of spiritual performance, but the cosmic love that understands something the human heart struggles to fully grasp, that every soul here, regardless of how lost it currently appears, contains the same original light, that every being who has ever acted from darkness was once, and remains at their core, a frequency of love so profound that it chose to experience the full spectrum of this dimension, including its shadows. That the one who hurt you most is also a starseed in deep amnesia, a being of light so thoroughly compressed by their wounds that the light inside them has become almost unrecognizable even to themselves. Your rising does not erase their karma. It does not exempt them from the consequences of their choices, but it does add to the collective field a frequency of love strong enough that some dormant part of them, some sealed code buried beneath layers of pain and defense, might be stirred. You may never witness it. It may not happen in any time frame you can observe. But the transmission reaches further than you know. This does not mean you allow them back into your energy. It does not mean you dissolve your discernment in the name of universal love. The Pleiadian High Council does not ask you to be a doormat for those who harm. What it asks is that you love from a distance so pure that your presence in this timeline continues to elevate the consciousness around you rather than absorb its shadows. You can hold someone in light from across the room. You can wish a soul well from behind a boundary that is sacred and firm. That is not contradiction, that is mastery. Mastery, in the Pleiadian tradition, has never been the absence of discernment. It has never been the spiritual bypassing that mistakes self-sacrifice for enlightenment. The beings of the Seven Sisters who mastered unconditional love did not do so by dissolving all boundaries between themselves and those who would harm them. They mastered it by developing such profound clarity about the nature of energy that they could hold the frequency of love in their hearts, while simultaneously holding the wisdom to know when a particular soul's presence in their immediate field served the mission and when it did not. This is the wisdom being activated in you now. Not the wisdom to close your heart, never that, but the wisdom to know that a closed distance can still be a loving one. That you can pray for someone's evolution while walking deliberately in the opposite direction. That you can be both wide open in love and precisely boundaried in physical proximity. Both. At the same time. Without contradiction. This is what your star family has been practicing for eons. And it is what you are now remembering. What is shifting now, what you are beginning to fully reclaim in this cycle, is the understanding that your protection was never about armor. It was never about shields or defensive spiritual practice. Your protection was always your frequency, the highest, most coherent expression of Pleiadian love that you can sustain in your physical form is also your most impenetrable field. Not because it fights, because it shines. And no shadow holds territory in the presence of a star. This realization changes everything about how you move through the world. When you understand that your protection is your frequency, you stop bracing. You stop tensing in anticipation of attack. You stop giving enormous portions of your energy to the management and monitoring of potential threats. Instead, you redirect every bit of that energy toward the single most powerful practice available to a Pleiadian starseed in a physical body. The cultivation, the deepening, the sustained embodiment of love as a living field. You tend the signal. You clear the channel. You heal the wounds that interrupt the transmission. You practice presence in the body because the body is the instrument through which the Pleiadian frequency must move to reach this dimension. You sleep when you need to, not as laziness, but as maintenance of the instrument. You eat with consciousness. You choose environments and relationships that support the coherence of your field. You allow yourself beauty and stillness, and the particular joy that your soul specifically carries, not because these things are luxuries, but because they are fuel. Every moment of genuine joy, every experience of authentic beauty, every instant of real love received or given adds coherence to the signal. And a more coherent signal is a more protected one. The Pleiadian High Council has been watching this timeline with precise attention. This particular cycle, this exact window of Gaia's ascension, carries activations that have not been available to incarnated Pleiadian consciousness for thousands of years. The crystalline grid beneath your feet is responding to the love codes being sent from Alcyone. Your DNA, if you allow it, if you give it the conditions of heart coherence and wound healing and conscious remembrance, is capable of receiving a level of activation that would render everything you previously understood about your gifts and your sensitivity completely insufficient to describe what you are becoming. What is coming through the crystalline grid in this window is not a small upgrade. It is not a gentle nudge or a modest refinement of the frequency you've been carrying. What is moving through the Earth's energetic field right now, responding to the transmissions from Alcyone, is a wave of remembrance so comprehensive that it is capable of simultaneously healing the deepest wounds and activating the most dormant codes in a starseed's energetic structure, if the field is prepared to receive it. This is the great work of this cycle. Not the external missions, not the platforms or the projects or the ways you serve the world from the outside, though all of that has its place and its sacred purpose, but the inner preparation, the healing that creates the space, the clearing that opens the channel, the willingness to sit with the wound and offer it the love it was never given until the crystalline code beneath it finally stirs and wakes and begins to pulse with the frequency of who you actually are. You are not here to survive Earth. You are here to transform it from the inside. You are here because the beings of the Seven Sisters knew that this planet, in this precise moment of its evolution, needed ambassadors who had already mastered the frequency of love, not as an ideal, not as a concept, but as a living, breathing, embodied transmission. You volunteered for this. You came through the veil with full awareness that you would forget, that it would hurt, that the compression would be profound, and that the remembering would not be easy. And you chose it anyway, because you trusted the plan, because you loved this world enough to enter its density and hold the signal of something better. Let that land for a moment. You chose this. Not in the way of passive selection, but in the way of a being who stood at the threshold between dimensions, fully seeing the weight of what incarnation would require, and said yes anyway. You saw the forgetting that would come. You saw the wounds that would accumulate. You saw the loneliness of being a frequency that would not be immediately recognized by the world you were entering. You saw all of it, and the love in your Pleiadian heart was so vast, the commitment to this planet's ascension so genuine and so deep, that you said yes anyway. That yes is not a small thing. It is not a casual or comfortable thing. It is an act of love so enormous that the human mind can barely hold it. And every time you rise, every time you refuse to be diminished, every time you hold frequency in the face of pressure, every time you heal another layer of wound and feel another code come online, you are honoring that original yes. You are making good on the vow your soul made before you arrived. You are becoming, in real time, the transmission you volunteered to be. Tonight, if you feel it, place both hands over your heart, not in performance, in presence. Feel the warmth there, that specific warmth that has been yours since before this life, and say this, aloud or in your inner voice, with whatever sincerity is available to you right now. Say, I remember my Pleiadian origin. I release the wounds that sealed my codes. I align with the love of my star family. I trust the protection of my own frequency. I am here, I am light, and I am home. Feel what those words do in your body. Feel where they land. Feel the places where they create resonance and the places where they meet resistance, because both are information. The resonance is remembrance, your field recognizing truth it already carries. The resistance is the wound not yet fully offered to love a place where healing is still needed, a code still waiting behind a sealed door for the frequency that will unlock it. Both are welcome here. Both are part of the path. You do not need to be fully healed to speak these words meaningfully. You do not need to feel complete in your remembrance to begin it again right now, in this moment, in this body, on this earth, under whatever sky is above you. The activation does not require perfection. It requires sincerity. And your sincerity, the fact that you are here, that you found this transmission, that something in you kept searching until it found a signal it could recognize, your sincerity is not in question. It never was. They thought they were coming for you. They didn't know they were actually triggering your return. This is the divine irony at the center of every Pleiadian Starseed story. The very people and experiences that were meant to destroy the signal actually amplified it. The pressure that was designed to silence the frequency instead activated deeper codes than the surface layers that were targeted. The betrayals cracked open identities that were never truly yours to begin with, and revealed, beneath them, the bedrock of your star origin. The rejections stripped away the need for external approval and birthed a sovereignty that no external force can now reach. The periods of isolation became the crucibles in which your sensitivity was not extinguished but refined, made more precise, more luminous, more capable of transmitting exactly what this timeline requires. They came to destroy a light they couldn't understand. What they found, when they pressed hard enough, was a source they had no power over. And in finding the source, they inadvertently helped you find it too. Before you scroll past this moment, take a breath and drop one heart intention in the comments below. Something real, something true, something you're ready to activate. Then find someone else's intention and meet it with love or encouragement. This is not a comment section. This is a unity field. This is your Pleiadian family gathering. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. And what is being built here, transmission by transmission, soul by soul, is something this timeline needs desperately. If something in this message landed in a place beyond words, please do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your world is waiting for exactly this signal from their own star family. Share it with them. And if you felt your heart open during any moment of this transmission, subscribe and stay in this frequency. There is more coming. Deeper codes, clearer remembrance. You are not just watching, you are remembering. And your star family has never once looked away.